Hey everyone, welcome back to the Team Empire podcast. You're here with your host Shannon. I've realized listening back to my pods that I have really bad introductions for my guests. They're really short, so I'm going to give better ones from now on. You guys know who I've got on the pod. You can probably see her if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, you'll know from the title. But IFBB Bikini Pro and like New Zealand's fave, Kate Carroll on the pod.
Carroll. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, it's so good. I know, I just looked at it before. Last time I had you on was episode 20. This is episode 50 now, and it was in March. It was so long ago.
Yeah. It was ages ago. So much has changed since then.
So much has happened, and we're going to go through it all. Everyone's so excited to hear about it. So we were just talking about before you jumped on, 3 weeks. It's been 3 freaking weeks. It goes so fast, man. It's been like 8 weeks since my last show. It just goes so fast, right? What have you been up to? How have you been feeling since that moment? Like, has it changed a little bit? Tell us about how you've been feeling through that 3 weeks.
Yeah, like initially, like we did the competition and then it was like, oh my gosh, I got second. What the heck? Like it was such a surprise, and yeah, just being on a high from that. I was kind of like going over there. I didn't really tell anyone or kind of let on what I was kind of what the goal for the show was, but I was really hoping to get top 5.
Yeah.
And then when it was announced that Ash K was doing the show, I was like, oh my gosh. It was a good feeling, but also like because I also thought that like Maureen might be doing it, Amy Delgado. There was also mention of like maybe Jennifer Dory doing the show too. So when I found out that all those girls were doing it, it had me both really excited because I thought, you know, when else am I going to get an opportunity to compete with these girls if it's not at the Olympia?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was excited to be really like put to the test and compete against the best.
Yeah.
Like
you can see where you stack up.
Yeah, like why not go all out and, you know, compete against the best and see how you stack up.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming second to Ash K was just insane. Like I didn't expect it. And I was just so stoked. Like I didn't sleep the night after the show because I think I slept like 3 hours. So I was just like replaying everything in my mind and watching back videos and just, on such a high from the whole experience.
I love that. Do you reckon it's sunk in yet? Do you reckon you've like kind of to process what's happened kind of thing?
Yeah, it's still kind of unbelievable to me. Like, yeah. I guess it's sunk in, but it's still like what? Like I did that? What the heck?
Crazy. Yeah, so like most people would have seen, and you just mentioned you came second to Ash K, just for people who aren't sure. We had a whole bunch of our Kiwi girls over there, and you placed highest. You got that freaking right there. So close, man. It was so good to see. What was it like really like competing next to Ash? Was it like was it more nerve-wracking, or like just tell us a bit about your stage experience around being so close to like Olympians, you know?
Yeah, I got a little bit nervous, like when we were lining up to be, because they glaze us, so they're like, okay, all the bikini pros lining up to be glazed before you go on the stage. So it was probably at that point that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing it, because you know I took a 2-year off season, hadn't competed in a long time, really took the time to grow, so that. Yeah, I was really confident with what I was presenting, like with my physique. I knew that I had made some crazy improvements since my last show. So it was more the feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's real. Like it's finally here. Like it seemed like it was so far away, you know, taking that 2 years off. And so when we were like lining up to go on, I was like, oh my gosh, like now's the time. It's about to happen. And then so there was like some steps that we had to climb before we went on the stage, and honestly like once I got on those steps I was so calm. I was just like, I was confident, like I just knew I was confident in what I was bringing, and I knew that I had put everything into the whole prep and just like the whole 2-year off season that I possibly could. Like there was nothing else I could have done, so I just felt confident within myself, and I was just excited, like really excited.
Yeah, so, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then like watching back videos and stuff, it was really cool because I was like, oh my gosh, is that seriously me? Like, what the heck?
Watching you, babe. I was like, oh my God. And like, you know, I did that podcast with Becca while you were on the stand. It was just like, it was so surreal for us, let alone how you would feel. So it's just like, crazy to pick your brains and get inside your head a little bit, you know. And that was your first international pro show. You've done a pro show, but here in New Zealand, right? And so this was your first overseas one. What was the Shawn Rays show like? Was it quite cool? Was it different than what you expected? Like, tell me a bit about that show, like the whole thing.
It was incredible. Like the whole experience, like it was absolutely incredible. I just loved, start to finish. It was amazing. Like, just like the athlete check-in the day before, everything was so organized. And then like on the day, like the whole tanning process was great. Glazing up, like the communication between like the officials and the athletes was like spot on. Everything ran on time. It was an amazing experience. And I guess like the way that they ran the show was like, so they brought out you in alphabetical order, I think like 6 of us at a time. So they did like a couple of the comparison rounds first. So they like brought us all out and like turned to the back, turned to the front. That was pretty much it. So it kind of like dusted off the nerves a little bit. Just getting to walk out, hit your poses, turn to the back, turn to the front, and then you were off. And then we had to walk around. And then we did our routines. And then after that was comparison rounds. I really like the structure of that, kind of dusting off those nerves before we went out to do our routines.
Yeah. And everyone gets to see you a little bit too, right? They get to see a little taster and then you come out for your routine and it's kind of like, oh, there she is. So it's kind of a cool way.
Yeah. And like with the comparison rounds, they like me, Ash, and Eureka, the top 3, we didn't actually spend that long on stage. Like it was quite short because they did a few comparisons and then they'd obviously decided on the top 3. So they were like, number blah, 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 blah. They were like, you can exit the stage now. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't want to get ahead of myself, but I was like, that's good. Like I'm with Ash K, like that must be good. And you know, I was in the center right next to her. So I figured they liked me and I was really happy. But I was also like, don't get ahead of yourself. Anything can happen. So just keep going and
ride the wave. Oh, that's crazy. I was watching Adam from Team Elite. I was watching his live stream and he said in his live stream, you might have heard it, he was saying is like, you girls were the 3, they're like, okay, top 3 pretty much get off the stage kind of thing, or like you can get back in line. He was like talking about you and Yuri and about who was like competing with Ash the most, and he was like, who is this chick, like about you? He was like, what the, like, oh my God, like it's crazy. And then as soon as you all 3 walked off, he goes, there's your top 3. He said it in the live stream. And so I was like, oh my God, it's definitely the top 3. Like, because Adam must know, you know, surely as well. But it was just so cool to see you like, and then you took your time getting back into line. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, you just did one more little booty pop. And I was like, that's how it's done. Let's talk a little bit about your off season leading into this comp. So 2-year off season, really long one. Did you plan for it to be that long, and did it go to plan kind of thing as well?
I didn't initially plan for it to be 2 years. I planned to do the Thailand Pro Show, which is usually around March. But I was kind of like keeping an eye on the calendar, and it wasn't being released, and there was kind of no talk of it. So I think it was like meant to be like 8 weeks out, and I was like, well, nothing's happening. I'm not gonna go into a deficit from here. I'm just gonna keep going with my off season. And then just looked at the calendar and saw the Hawaii show on there, and just was like, okay, I really want to compete this year, so I'm going to go for that. I needed to grow a little bit. I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did, because it just meant that I had more time to put into growing. And so I think it paid off. I think it really paid off. Yeah.
You looked amazing. I mean, it's undeniable. Was there any like goal leading into comp the last like maybe 10 weeks? Was there any like hiccups or anything that happened, or was it just pretty smooth?
It was honestly really smooth. I really like my off season was good. Like Frank and I built my calories up super high. We're just focused on eating like really calorie dense foods. Like you would have maybe seen me eating a lot of pasta, because you know, with my job sometimes I can go hours on end without eating when I'm scrubbed for a surgery. So just trying to find really calorie dense foods that would like boost those calories when I finally got to eat. So in the off season we were aiming for like between 3,000 and 4,000 calories a day. So Frank was kind of like, you know, if you're having a day where you can get all those calories in, get them in. But if it's a day that you can't, you know, just do your best. Yeah. So I think it went good. And I think that, yeah, that having that good off season, building the calories up, obviously enough to put on size and everything, I think it definitely made the prep a whole lot easier. Yeah, and I was I think we're at like the 12-week out mark, and I kept asking Frank, when is it time? Like, when is it time? And then 10 weeks come along, I was like, can I cut yet? Can I start yet? And I think like that was the time where we had our biggest argument. And he actually, at one point, he was like, well, just go and find a new coach then. And I was like, no, like I trust you, but I'm just like wanting to start.
Yeah.
My prep for the New Zealand Pro show, that was all through lockdown. So I did that entire prep in our spare bedroom with like really, really limited equipment. And because the show kept getting postponed, I think it was supposed to be like October the 10th, and then it ended up being like December the 18th. So there was quite a lot of time, and it was always like, okay, I'm 4 weeks out, and then it would get postponed. And then it's like, okay, now I'm 8 weeks out. So I had to like hold that condition for a really long time. So I was lean for quite a long time. And so that would be like the main point of difference, I think, going into this show was like, timing is everything, right? So knowing like when to start that deficit and when to push and not doing it too early.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely struggled with that probably the most, like getting in my own head going, okay, like I should be leaner than I am currently, but also completely trusting Frank and knowing that he would get me to where I needed to be in the end.
Yeah, that's crazy. You just have to give that trust over, which is so like, oh my God, it's scary.
Yeah.
You're like, and he's your husband, so you like it's the easiest kind of trust, but it's still like a bit of a mind game, I'm sure.
And that's where, absolutely. It's like that's where staying in your own lane and just focusing on yourself and your own journey really comes in, because I would see the other girls and they've been dieting for quite a long time and they looked amazing, and I was like, oh man, they're all really lean. When am I going to get to that point? But yeah, just staying in my own lane, focusing on myself and just trusting the process, trusting Frank.
Yeah, like it feels like it should be hard, right, all the time, which I know what you mean. Like you're like, I'm ready to push, and it's not like hard. Yes, does it get hard? But after that result, I'm sure that all of those feelings are like, oh, that was worth it. Like that was exactly how it was supposed to go, right? You know, like it was perfectly done. That was. Do you think you'll do another 2-year off season, or do you think you'd like to get back on?
So my feedback was, I was really surprised. Like they said that I didn't need to grow anymore, like that they were happy with like my muscle mass and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely won't take another 2-year off season. We'll definitely look at some shows next year.
Nice, babe. That's exciting, hey, because then now you can start like really planning the next one kind of thing, which is fun. We'll talk more about that at the end though, and I'll get you a little idea of what you're doing next. You had, like we mentioned, you had all the girls over there. There's a whole bunch of you. Did you actually get enough time to spend together? Did you make some memories while you were over there, or was it just a bit hectic?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Yeah, like obviously the lead up to the show was very much like, we're all focused. We're going to do our training, our cardio, like everything was like, the whole point of going over there was for the show, right? So everything was focused on that. And then afterwards, we did a couple of dinners together and things like that.
Cute. That's nice, hey. And how was the Cheesecake Factory? Because we all know you were going there.
Yeah, because we've been to Hawaii a couple of times before, so I knew like that's where I'm going after comp.
100%. Yeah.
But my stomach was like this big, so it was kind of like I couldn't eat everything that I wanted to eat, which was probably in hindsight a really good thing.
Yeah, and the portions are even bigger than ours, and I was like, it's not fair. What flavored cheesecake did you get?
The first night we got a cookie dough one, but we shared it between 3 of us because I was like, I've got to try it, like I've got to taste it, but I can't order a whole one to myself.
That's too much. Like if you guys haven't been to the Cheesecake Factory, gotta go get to the US and go, because it's so good, but it's so bad, hey. But it's like,
and like one piece of cheesecake is like at least 1,500 calories or like 1,800 calories for one piece, and they've got the menu. And then have you ever been? Like,
I can remember that
calories beside it.
Yeah, that's crazy. They have to do it, don't they, in America? So it's kind of, but it's confronting. You're like, holy shit, there's like calories. We got a couple of questions from Instagram. Do you want to go through those? What everyone wants to know. First question: do you feel like you could have done more to prepare for the show?
Honestly, like I feel like I put everything into it. Yeah. And I feel like, yeah, throughout my off season, I was just very much focused on getting to the stage again and bringing an improved package. So I feel like I did everything. Yeah.
Nice.
I listened to Frank. Yeah, I did exactly as I was meant to do, I guess.
Nice, babe. That's good. That's a good feeling because I'm sure that the feeling of regret can only be worse, right? So it's good that you've got it done. I mean, we can tell. How did you stay on track with like the travel side of things and like food and stuff like that? Was that really tricky for you, or were you kind of okay with that?
It was actually all right. Like, it was a red-eye flight over there, so it left at like New Zealand time 10 p.m. So I ate like the last of my meals before we got on the flight, and then I was like, okay, I need to sleep because if I don't sleep, I'm going to get really hungry. So it was a pretty empty flight, and Leah and I actually managed to get a whole row to ourselves. So we just like lay down, and I slept for quite a lot of it. And then I wasn't actually planning to eat on that flight, but the breakfast came around and there was like an omelette option. So, and that's like the perks of Frank being my coach. He's on the flight with me. He's like, okay, you can have the omelette.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then one of the first things that we did when we got to Hawaii was got the food sorted. Like went to the supermarket, got everything organized. I also bought a lot of food over with me. I was quite pedantic about that, and Frank was laughing at me because I went to the supermarket and like half my suitcase was full with like rice cakes and pasta and what else did I bring? Obviously like protein powder and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They say that like they run out of rice cakes and stuff around pro shows, like around the
Yeah, I was expecting that too. And that they are slightly different as well. I regret not bringing peanut butter with us because over there, like the peanut butter is just a bit different and it all contains palm oil.
Wow.
But yeah, I would advise like if anyone's competing overseas to try and take a few of the foods that you will often have in your plane, like take it in your suitcase with you.
Because you can, right? Obviously, you've done it, and like you can, as long as
Yeah.
you it's all good.
Not in your carry-on, but in your,
Just eating peanut butter on the plane, but take the stuff with you guys. You never know. You kind of answered this, but we'll ask it again. But were you nervous on stage like the rest of us? That was from one of your clients, actually, one of your girls.
Yeah. I do know that I was shaking a little bit on stage. Like when I hit my back pose, I was like, okay, I can feel my legs going a little bit. Watching back on like videos and stuff, you couldn't tell at all. I think I was just excited. Like the lead up to the show, the big off season and everything. I was just like, I'm ready. I feel ready. I was happy with what I was presenting. So yeah, it's like I had this kind of wave come over me and I'm just super confident and just like really happy to be there.
I love it. It's like a different Kate, like comes out. Alter ego.
I just like the whole experience like meant so much to me. Like in the lead up to the show and stuff, like I had even in like the last couple of weeks when we were in New Zealand, like sometimes I'd be driving to the gym in the dark and I'm tired and I'm going to do my workout and I would just think about the fact that I'm actually going to do it. And then I get emotional and I'd be so happy. I'd be like, wow, it's happening now. It's feeling real. And I had a few moments when we were there as well, like when we got there and we got into the Airbnb. I just looked at Frank and I was like, gave him a hug and I like had tears in my eyes. I was like, I can't believe we're actually doing this. Like it was, yeah, I guess when you spend so long thinking about something and, you want it bad, you're passionate about something, it can be emotional and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
So I just knew like I was ready,
Yeah, nice, babe. I love that. Get yourselves ready, girls, before you get on stage and you'll have that a little bit more confidence because you know what you're bringing, right? Yeah. I love that. Someone asked if you think you're Olympia worthy yet.
Yes, absolutely. I do. Now I do. I think the biggest thing for me with that show was, I'd done well within New Zealand, but then to go overseas and do well internationally was a real confidence boost for me. So, and then to like see myself up there compared with Ash K and Eureka, Eureka's also an Olympian, and to place highly, I think I'm worthy for sure. It's just if I can get that qualification. It's it's a big goal for next year for sure.
That's why it's the best federation, because it ain't easy. Like,
No.
my God. And Ashley's out there like scoring everyone's Olympia invites anyway, so it's like even harder. But it's kind of cool. Like, it's good how competitive it is. We wouldn't do it otherwise, hey babe. Like, it's just, it is what it is. What are your biggest tips for pushing yourself to failure in the gym?
Remembering your goal, I guess. Like, that was what helped me through my off season, and because it was such a long time, and you could kind of easily get off track. But I always had that goal in my mind of like, I'm not stepping on stage until I've improved like considerably since last time. So I knew that was going to take a lot of work. And yeah, just like during the sets, it's just like, just keep going. Don't be a pussy. Like, you can do more.
Yeah. I love that. Like, just in your head, like just being as nasty to yourself as you can possibly.
Yeah.
It works though. And if you think about like, if you're doing lat raises, like you think about your shoulders on the stage, it really changes like your perspective, hey? Like, put yourself in that position, and then it's like motivating. I love it. Cool. That was our questions from Instagram, but I've got plenty more for you, of course, because how we do. You said that your feedback was to not grow anything, but was there any other feedback in there that you can share with us?
Yeah. So after the show, we just went straight up to the judges and we got feedback on the spot. Like, it was incredible. So Frank and I went over, and I was talking to one of the female judges and he was talking to one of the male judges. And the female judge, she was like, you're posing, your suit, your hair, tan, makeup, your stage vibe. And she was like, mwah, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So I was stoked with that. So in terms of like my physique, they wanted me just a little bit tighter in the glute hamstrings. So yeah, that's an easy fix, I guess. Like, Frank knows what to do, so we'll just follow the plan. Yeah. So and they really like stressed the fact that it was just a little bit, like just a little bit, because obviously like you don't want to take the conditioning too far and come too lean. And just keeping the criteria in mind, and always at the forefront of like what you're doing.
Yeah, nice, babe. That's exciting. That's not too much. Like, you don't have to be like, okay, I've got to go and grow for like a whole year now. It's like just little things that you can do.
I think like, a little bit more size wouldn't be a bad thing, because as you probably know, like Ash K, she is one of the more petite competitors. So being compared with her, I stacked up next to her, but would I stack up next to like Jen Dory or Maureen, because they're a little bit more dense, a little bit more muscle.
Yeah, be interesting to see, because Ash K does say a lot that because she just competed in Japan, you might have seen that as well, and she won that one too, surprise, but she looks like, she says in the Asian countries and the American like just different continents and stuff, she has a different physique because it's just comparative to what's around, right? So she looked big on the Japan stage, she said, and then obviously in the US she feels small, so it just depends on who you're competing next to, but there's such a variety of pros, so it's just fitting into your place.
And it's all who shows up on the day. Like, had Ash K, Maureen, Jennifer Dory, and like Amy Delgado showed up at my show, I wouldn't have come second, probably. You never know, but it's all about who shows up on the day, and so
Is it crazy to think about who you might be up there against next? Like, because you never know. Like, your next pro show, you don't know who's going to be there. Is that like exciting?
Yeah, for sure, it's exciting.
Who would you love to compete next to? Like, which Olympian would you love, other than the Ash K tick done, but would there be anyone else you'd love to like battle with?
Yeah, Jen Dory for sure. Yeah, I've always really liked her and her physique, and I'd love to get up there next to her. Probably, I know everyone's obsessed with Laurelie as well, but I feel like if I competed against Laurelie, it'd be quite a big difference. Like, because she's so much bigger, like, her glutes are ginormous. So yeah, I feel like it would still be cool to compete against her, but I would love to see myself compared with like Jen Dory, and of course she's Miss Olympia, so
exactly. Well, who better to compare with? And what did you think about the Olympia? Speaking on that, because you obviously probably watch parts of it as well, Jen. But what did you think about the lineup? Did you like Jen's posing changes and her suit change, and like, did you like the whole outcome? It was quite cool, hey, different sort of vibe.
Yeah, different. Like, first of all, like, I love Jen. Like, she's definitely my favorite, and someone that I've been really inspired by. I actually preferred her. I think it's just my personal preference, so because I do like the blues and the purples. Like I think I personally preferred her in those colors, but I think it's just because I prefer those colors myself. But she definitely pulls off the green. But yeah, I was glad that she won. And I think she looked really good. Just her back pose, though, for me was like the legs were quite wide, so I would have liked to see her bring those in.
Yeah, wonder why she's done that.
Yeah,
Hey,
she looked
definitely different. Definitely a different look from the
yeah.
back shot. So maybe she's just mucking around with something different, but she's still won, so she got it.
Yeah, definitely.
And everyone used to say that. Well, I didn't actually watch Olympia back then, but she used to compete in a green suit and used to have straight hair. And I was like, what the fuck? I had to go look it up. I was like, this isn't true. And I looked up and yeah, it's true. Like same green, straight hair, looks so different. Did you ever see her when she was competing like that?
Yeah, I did. I think that would have been like when I was kind of planning to start competing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, around like 2019.
Yeah.
She was looking like the straight hair and the green bikini.
So random, but I love it. It's cool for a change, why not?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking on that, do you reckon you'd ever do curly hair? Because you've never done curly hair, eh?
I've never done curly hair. Potentially, like I would love to do curly hair. I do think I suit straight hair though, and it's kind of like my look, but I think I would love to try curly one day, but I think it is harder to pull off. Like it's either going to be like beautiful, nice, sort of wavy curls, or it's going to be like crazy, like too much.
Yeah.
And I also know like my hair doesn't really hold curls that well, so I would have to, I'd have to see.
Yeah.
Potentially, and I can't do it myself. Like I'm really useless. So, for my show, like I just straightened my own hair.
Yeah,
it was
easy. Bit of hairspray, done.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I do love the look of straight hair on stage too.
Yeah.
I guess I feel more myself as well.
It's more sassy too. Like it's a bit more like it goes, like flows with your body a little bit better than like curly hair's just like, oh. Yeah.
And stuff like that too.
Yeah, it looks better with the flicks. I love it with the flicks. Let's talk about your posing. I fucking love your posing, Kay. It's amazing. And you've already stepped it up now that you're with Renee. Talk about it. Was it good? Was it a great posing routine? Did you fuck up? Because we couldn't tell. But did anything, like, just talk about your posing for a bit because we love it.
Yeah, so I started posing with Renee like 3 years ago. And I've definitely come a long way since then, like with my posing. Yeah, I think like Renee's amazing. First of all, she's absolutely incredible. I think back to our first lesson together, and I actually cried. I think I've told you this. Like after our first lesson, I hung up the phone and I cried because we spent the entire hour on my front pose, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not made for this. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, yeah, the self-doubt was really like kicking in. But I continued to work with her, and I think like over, just committing to the process long term has definitely helped. With my posing on stage, I felt super confident because I had committed to weekly lessons with her. I think I was doing 3 lessons a month because on the other week I couldn't make it because I was working late. But yeah, just I knew I had put everything into it that I could, so I felt confident, and I also knew that if I messed anything up, like it was still going to be good. Like you can, and this is what I tell all my posing girls as well, is like you can mess up your routine on stage, but if you smile through it, you can make people believe that that's what you were meant to do. So I think I pulled it off pretty good. There was like one move, so it was like after my hair flick, how you'd kind of expect me to go into my back pose, then I turned around to the front and then went the other way.
Yeah,
that was definitely like a challenge for me. And Renee was like, let's try something new, like you can do it. And she really had that belief in me, and I was like, oh, I don't know, like it made me really nervous, but I trusted her, and I knew that if I couldn't pull it off leading up to comp, that we could just change it back anyway. But yeah, I think it went really well. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed in was my front pose, because I was a little bit too front on, like with my waist, I feel anyway. And I think for me, like my waist has always been something where I've been like, okay, I need to get my waist far to the side, because if I'm too front on, I'm actually quite blocky. Like I don't have the tiniest waist front on, so I need to get that waist to the side. So looking back at the photos, I thought, oh man, I could have got that waist more to the side, but it wasn't in my feedback, and you know, I still managed to place second. So they must not have seen too much of a fault with it.
Yeah, and you're going to pick things out about yourself, aren't you, when you see photos? Like you're going to do it, right? And I think Amy said she messed up her posing a couple of times, but she looked fucking amazing too. Like you can't really tell if you recover. Like it's the recovery, right?
And that's what I because she said that to us as well. She said she messed up, and I was like, you know, no one else knows.
No one else knows. The only thing because I've seen her posing so many times, her routine, and I was like, she did her hair flick different, and I was like, that was not what I want, like, because I've just like analyzed her because I love her, but she just went straight on, moved on, did the next pose, and pulled it off.
And that's what you have to do. Just smile through it, make everyone believe that that's the way it was meant to be. At the end of the day, no one else knows.
No, yeah, just make it up on the spot. Like,
make it up.
Do you have anything in your posing that you do? Because your flow is really good. Like your timing is nice. I like it. And it's like a lot of people, as we know, will rush through their posing a little bit quicker. Do you count in your head? How do you slow it down and keep it so flowy? Is there any sort of tricks around that, or is it just something that you just practice?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely something that's come with time. Like when I first started posing with Renee, I was a speedster, man. Like looking back on videos now, I'm like, wow, I would just rush through my whole routine. And it always feels like you're going slower than you are. So that's something that I've learned with Renee over time, is to really slow things down, but then at the same time, not making the whole routine the same speed the whole time, you know. You got to spice it up in certain places and then slow it down in others. Keep it interesting. But I wouldn't think that I count in my head. I sometimes when I come to the front and I hit my front pose, I do like to make sure I hit it for long enough. I'll get into it, and then I'll be like glance, go. Kind of like look to the side, acknowledge that judge. Look to the other side, acknowledge that judge, and then go. And so it's like glance, go. So it's kind of like you're holding it for 3 seconds.
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect. And you're still looking at the judges too. It's like 2 and 1.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Acknowledge with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something that I did on the day was actually I come to the front and I hit my front pose, and I noticed that the head judge in the middle was looking down. And so I was like, screw it. I'm going to stay here until you look up at me. So I just did that. And I think, I think it was a little longer than I'd planned, but it worked out good.
You got it. Did he look up?
Yeah. And you get heaps of time as a pro. Generally, you get heaps of time as a pro as well. Yeah. Like I think we get like at least a minute. Like I definitely wasn't rushed off stage or anything. I think the video that I posted of my routine was actually the second time that I came out. And so they kind of called the next person on before I'd finished. So that wasn't actually the way that I had intended to finish my routine. But I was just like, okay, I've obviously taken too long because I was time. Yeah,
I love it. Is there any do you have a favorite part about your routine, your posing routine? My favorite part is how you turn to the back. I fucking love how you front, then you're back, and then you're like you just go back and forward a few times, and then you turn to it's like almost like a tease. Like I'll show you the glutes, but you can take a minute before you can see them. But is there a favorite part of your routine that you're kind of like, I've got this is so smooth, you know?
I really love a good hair flick. So I think it was like 3 weeks out that Renee and I changed the start of my routine. You might have noticed from kind of what I posted, and then what I actually did on stage was a little different. So I actually walked out on stage with my hair over the front like this, and then I did the whole like
double flip
to the side. Yeah, I loved that. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's totally me. And then the other part would have been, the hair flick, kind of when you're in that side booty pop, just to spice things up a little bit.
I love that. That's so cool. I've only ever seen one person do the double flick with the hair before. One person, and she's an Aussie chick. So I was like, and I saw you do it. I was like, okay, it's nice. Who did you told me to? I think you told me that you did your hair, but who did your hair tan and your makeup and stuff like that? Was it like a little like I kind of know, but we'll talk about it anyway because it's exciting to mention. But who did all that for you?
Yeah, so I did 3 base coats of tan on myself. So I just ordered Pro Tan online, and I did them just at home, because I'm actually really pale. Not many people know that because I've always got a fake tan on. But if you ever want to see my natural skin color, the only time to see it is pretty much like that week before I start the tanning process, because I'm at my whitest. But I need a lot of coats of tan. So I did my first base coat on Tuesday night in New Zealand before we left. And then we flew out Wednesday evening. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to do one on Wednesday evening. And then when we got there, because of the time difference, it was Wednesday morning. So then it's their time. So then I did my second coat that night. That was Wednesday. And then I did one Thursday. And that was all by myself. And then on Friday, I got the base coat from the Pro Tan team at Shawn Rays. And then on the day, I got my top coat from them as well. And then they do glazing before you go on stage.
Like a donut.
Yeah. So they use a glazing product, and it makes you all like shiny. I don't know, like a donut, I guess. Yeah. So you just kind of like line up in your bikini, and there's all the Pro Tan ladies, and they're just like glazing you over everywhere they can see. You're not naked at that point. You've got your bikini on.
Yeah. Do they spray it on, or is it like a cream? How do they do it?
They wipe it on.
Wipe it on. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was the tan. And I was really happy with my color. I think that it was good.
Yeah.
Worked out well. And then my hair, I just did my own hair. Yeah, nice and easy. And then for makeup, I actually had Kendall, a good friend of ours, come over to Hawaii to do my makeup, which was amazing. I had thought that I would have to like learn how to do my own makeup for my overseas shows, and I've had a couple of lessons with her. But then when I told her that I was going to do the Hawaii show, the first thing she said to me was, "Can I come?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, of course you can come." So that was incredible having her there to do my makeup for me.
Yeah, that's so nice. And she did did she do Amy's as well? As I think she helped out a little bit as well, eh?
She did Amy's as well. And she was going to be doing a couple of the other girls as well, but they ended up getting it done elsewhere.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. Let's give her a little shout. What's her Instagram name? What is it?
Makeup by Kendall.
That's it. Yeah, we'll put a link below, guys, if you want makeup for comps. She's busy, but if you book in with her early, she'll get you in, right?
Yeah. She may be moving next year, so we'll see how that goes down.
Oh God, we need someone else, everyone. Everyone's leaving us. We need some more.
There's a few other good ones out there for sure.
But your face looked amazing. I mean, she did a great job. She's top quality, right?
Yeah.
What about your bikini? Like, your bikini was new. I went in with you to get the colors done, which was fun. But like, did you like it? Did it fit good? Did you have any problems with it? Talk about your bikini for us.
Yeah. So first of all, big shout out and big thank you to Sarah from Accentuate, because she made me my bikini. She sponsored me my bikini, which was really lovely of her. I was so happy with it. Yeah, I loved it. So obviously, everyone knows that I love blue. But I was like, I want something a little bit different. So I can't completely stray from blue, but I don't want to go like full purple. So I kind of had like blurple, right? It was kind of like, is it blue? Is it purple? And then like had some blue stones and some purple stones on there as well. So in different lights, it looked like different color. On stage, it looked more purple, and then off stage, it looked more blue. So yeah, I was stoked with it. It arrived, and I tried it on, and the bottoms were quite big. And so I just sent her a little video, and she was like, "Oh, sweet as, I'll make you a new pair, send them out." It was like 2 days later they were here. So that was really good experience. And I loved my bikini. I was stoked with it.
I love it. Do you think we'll see it again, or you might store that one away for another day?
Yeah, I think definitely you'll see it again. Planning to go to the US next year and do like line up a few shows. And so I'll definitely be bringing it with me, and probably get another bikini or another couple of bikinis as well, just to wear something slightly different on stage at each show.
Yeah, because it's nice to wear the same one, but you kind of want something fresh too, right? Just a little bit of something. Yeah.
Nice. I don't think I'd go too far from what I've worn on stage before, like the blues and the purples, that kind of thing, because I've always gotten really good feedback about those sort of colors on me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
and
you
also I just feel more confident in those kind of color ranges too.
what you like, eh? Like you wouldn't, I can't imagine you in, like you would look amazing, but like in red or like green or something, it just seems like so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, stick with what you've
I
got.
don't think I'd feel confident. I don't think I'd feel like myself. Yeah, if I wore those colors.
Yeah, I'm with you. You've got to feel comfortable. You have to, especially if you're wearing like a little bikini on stage. Yeah, tiny little bikini. But it looked amazing. So really good job to Sarah, for doing that for you. That's so cool. And it looked amazing. So we'll see how many blues we get this year after seeing you in blue. You might have inspired everyone.
Blue's always a fave, I think. Always see lots of blue bikinis on stage.
It's a classic, right? It's always around.
Too. You know, if you're blonde, you're brunette. You know, everyone.
Versatile. We love it.
Redheads look good in blue too.
Yeah, true. I don't think I've seen that a whole lot. They always go green, don't they? They just go to the green, but yeah, blue would look good.
I know there was an Australian girl who just turned pro, Lisa, I think her name is. She's like a redhead, but it's like a deep red, and she wore blue. She looked really good in it.
Yeah, I can imagine that would look so good. So spice it up, girls. So speaking of what you're doing next, do you have a little plan, or do you have like a certain, like you said, you might do a few shows? Is there a certain show that you're like, I want to commit to that, or anything like that coming on the horizon?
Yeah, so I'm just waiting. Frank and I are waiting for the calendar to come out, and then we'll take a look at the shows next year. Definitely want to go back to the US and compete over there. Obviously, we'd like to go over for like some time, like maybe like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and line up a few shows. Just make it worth the trip, you know, because coming from New Zealand and traveling over for one show, and that can get quite expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and
we'll
even
see, like, when the calendar comes out.
Yeah, true. Yeah, do you know when that comes out? I'm not sure about the US, but does there a ballpark of when that comes?
I think it's like the end of the year or like beginning of next year, like pretty much around when the New Zealand calendar will come out, I think.
Gotcha. So we'll all be able to get excited together, the Kiwis and the international girls. We'll see what you do. Is there a show you want to do though? Or you're like, oh, Tampa or New York or Pittsburgh? Is there like one of those pro shows that are like, fuck, I'd love to do that one soon?
Not a specific show, like, yeah, specifically, but a bigger show for sure. Like I'd love to go and do, yeah, one of the bigger shows as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Just throw yourself in the deep end.
Absolutely, why not? It'd be so much fun, and just to like be on that stage that we've all watched a lot of times, you know, and then you're on it, just like Shawn Rays. It's crazy. All right, we're gonna play a little game of Would You Rather.
Cool.
A little baby game and see what obviously what you'd rather. The first one I heard on a different podcast that I really liked, Phoebe Hagen and Laura Lee have a podcast together, and they played Would You Rather, so I stole some of those. But they're good ones. So would you rather win $1 million or win Olympia next year? It has to be next year's Olympia.
I would rather win the Olympia. Yeah. You can always make money, you know, but winning the Olympia would be like a massive
yeah. I'm with you. Phoebe and Laura Lee both were like, oh, I take $1 million. Like, what? You girls are loaded. You don't even need to worry. And you're on the stage. Surely you want to win it. But
just get me to the Olympia first. I need to get there first.
Step one. Step one. We'll do the next. Would you rather spend a 2-minute conversation with your past self or your future self?
Probably my past self. And I would tell myself to start bodybuilding earlier.
Yes. Would you have listened?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another thing.
Yeah, no, I like that too. And then like maybe you could go into the future to tell yourself what you're like, am I all good? Am I going to win? Am I going to like how do I look, you know, get that kind of information? But you can get both out of both, right? But yeah, giving yourself advice to start earlier is probably what like most of us would probably do, right? Would you rather quad day or glute day?
Definitely glute day. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I had one quad exercise in one of my programs in the last 2 years, because I used to have quite quads like when I was powerlifting, and I had to shrink them to fit bikini. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love like the look of big quads, like the wellness girls. It's epic. It looks really cool, but yeah, just it doesn't fit the bikini criteria.
That's it. We've got to train to the criteria. Is your glute day like mostly hip thrust, or is it a whole bunch of different stuff?
Yeah, at the moment I've got 3 lower body days, and generally it's 3 lower body days and 2 upper. Sometimes it flips. and I have like 3 upper and 2 lower. But yeah, lots of hip thrusts. I love glute bridges as well, like off the ground. I really like those. And of course, like Romanian deadlifts.
All the staples, all the good ones.
Yeah, good stuff.
Would you rather shoulders or back day?
Shoulder day.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's why you've got such great shoulders that I want to steal. Would you rather win a sponsorship or like gain a sponsorship with Bombshell or HD Muscle?
Bombshell, 100%.
I knew it.
Yes.
You wouldn't be a bikini girl if you said anything else, except HD Muscle they're just, I don't even know who knows HD Muscle, but they're just really huge overseas. And they like follow their pros around with cameras and like do all their content for them, and like it's supplements essentially, but they do a lot of stuff for their athletes. But Bombshell's the OG, right?
I'm still with them, I think, HD Muscle.
Who?
I thought Jen Dory was with HD Muscle.
I don't think she
maybe
is. Yeah, I think she's finished up with them because nothing's been out about her for the last probably year and a bit. But it's like Phoebe Hagen and a lot of like Team Elite and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe she's moved on. Don't know. Gossip. Would you rather? This is going to be hard because you've got both, cats or dogs.
Dogs. Yeah. Dogs.
Nice.
I love our cat, but funny. I was like always scared of cats, like just their claws and stuff. I'm like, oh, get away from me! I don't want you to scratch me. And yeah, so I always felt that way about cats, and then I ended up finding our kitten, when he was like tiny on the side of the road. And I wouldn't change anything. Like I love him to bits, but yeah, definitely still a dog person.
Yeah, 100%. I remember when you found that cat and it was still here, it's still around. It's Frank's best friend.
Yeah, I was scared of him when I first found him. I was like, oh, I don't want to pick him up, and he's got little claws and scary.
This little thing in the end, little fluff ball. I love it. I think I know the answer to this one, but Jen Dory or Maureen?
Jen all the way. Yeah.
I wonder if Maureen's done. Like, I wonder, like, not done, but like, it's weird how she didn't place this. You know what I mean? Like, do you think she'll get it again?
Yeah, like potentially. Yeah, I just think that I just love Jen. And I loved her 2022 look as well. Like it was more conditioned, and I really liked that. But obviously, like the judges didn't. So
yeah, they said she was too conditioned, but I liked it too. I was like, oh, she's got this. She looks fucking.
Yeah, I'd love to get like that, but it doesn't kind of fit criteria.
You're on your way, babe. You're on your way up there. You're so close. Coffee or energy drinks? Oh, I know this one too.
Yeah, energy drinks. I hate coffee. Can't stand it.
It's great. She's like coffee, guys. She doesn't drink it at all. I remember trying to buy you coffees all the time. You're like, no, like palmy and whatnot. It's rare for a bodybuilder, hey, to not like coffee. It's because it's like all we have sometimes.
I don't like. I have energy drinks from time to time as well, but I can never generally like finish a whole can because of the caffeine. And also they like sometimes bloat me. So I'll always crack a can and then end up sharing it with Frank or something.
Nice. Do you just have like pre-workout and things like that maybe as well? Like
yeah.
What's your go-to pre-workout right now?
Ghost Legend.
Yeah. So for a long time, hey, you love that one.
Yeah, I do. I don't like to mix it up too much with pre-workouts because I find like I'm a little bit caffeine sensitive, so some of them can like tip me over the edge or just give you that gross feeling.
Yeah, they're all different formulas, hey. So if you feel different one day, it's going to be like, could be the pre-workout, could be anything. Winter prep or summer prep?
I love summer. Like I'm definitely more of a summer person, but I would say winter prep because I just find it's like easier to like get in the zone and like do your thing throughout winter, whereas like summer comes around and there's events and like family stuff and yeah, I just like to enjoy summer and like barbecues and stuff like that. And
yeah, everyone I've asked has said summer prep, and I'm just like, what? Like I just love to keep my head down like you and like just grind through winter, because winter, what else are you gonna do? You might as well just work hard,
yeah, I don't like getting too sweaty like on the Stairmaster and stuff, like the gross feeling in summer.
Exactly. Get on the Stairmaster for 40 minutes in summer, guys, then tell me what you want to do. Like it's the worst. Would you rather do a pro show in the US or in Asia?
The US, now that I've had a taste for it, but I wouldn't rule out either.
Yeah, there's a few good Asian shows, hey, that would be quite fun to do as well. I'm sure that you would love it. Yeah, like I was going to say Dubai, but there's no woman on the Dubai stage. I think that's the only one. Yeah.
Because it looks like an incredible show.
Maybe one day they'll change it up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Would you rather a date night at a restaurant or like an active date night, like you and Frank go and do something like active instead of a restaurant?
A restaurant.
Yeah. Nice. And steak?
Yeah. I just love steak. Like I eat it every night for dinner, and then whenever we go out, I'm likely to pick the steak option as well. I just love it.
That's my next question, chicken or steak. So I think we've got that one down. And last one, would you rather a morning or an evening workout?
Morning workout. Yeah. If you asked me like 5 years ago, I'd say evening, but yeah, I like a morning workout, sets you up for a good day. And also it's just nice, a nice feeling like just getting it done and then getting on with your day. And I feel like I'm a nicer person throughout the day if I've had my workout in the morning.
You've got all the aggression out, so everyone else is like safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, babe. So that is our little would you rather game. Talk to me about what you've been doing since you've been back. Did you get straight back into work, or did you have a little break as well, or has it been all go?
Yeah, we got back on late on like a Thursday night, and then we didn't actually have any lists on at work on Monday, so I took Monday off as well. So I did have like a few days to chill, I guess, yeah, once we got back before going back to work, which was good because we got sick. Like Frank got really sick, and I had a really like watered down version of whatever he had, which we think was strep throat. And so I was exhausted, like I was really, really fatigued for a few days. And yeah, so I found that tough. And so it was kind of like a lot of lounging around, a lot of napping throughout the day. And then I did train though, like I got back to the gym because I just knew it would be good for me. And I'm glad that I did. But yeah, now I'm back into it, full swing ahead with work. Yeah, it's been pretty full on the last couple of weeks, but I'll stop over Christmas. We close down for 3 weeks, which will be good.
Yeah, that's coming at a good time. Little bit of work and then break again. Frank was sick before as well, wasn't he? Because he before nationals, and then he got sick again. Like, how's he doing? Is he okay? Is he better?
Yeah, he's on the up now, but yeah, he got really sick, obviously, as you know, before, like in his prep leading up to his show, and then he decided not to do nationals. And then he came right, and he was starting to get back into it. Was feeling really good, was looking really good. He kept things really, really clean with his diet. Even when he decided he wasn't going to compete, he was still like on the ball with his diet because he knew, you know, like that's kind of like the one thing you can control when you are sick, even if you can't train. So yeah, he's on the up now. He's starting to feel good again now, but he had to take like a month to 6 weeks off in total. So that was hard mentally for him as well.
Yeah, I bet. So he'll slowly get back into it, and then we'll see what he does. We're not going to put any expectations on him for next year, but we'll see. Or does he have a plan? Does he know what he wants to do?
He'll compete. Like, I mean, his goal is to turn pro. So, you know, when you've got that kind of goal, there's no point in kind of competing until you know that you can, you know, achieve it. I guess, I don't know. That's kind of like the mindset that he has, I think. So yeah, hope to see him out there next year, but whenever the time is right for him.
That's exactly right. Like I just had Dean on the pod and Jasmine, but Dean said that he didn't compete for 5 years and he wanted to come back undeniable, and he did, and he got his pro card. So I'm sure that's what a lot of the guys want to do, right?
There's nothing like just coming out and just being like, here I am. Like, I've been working and here I am.
Crazy couple, those two. I've seen you train with Jasmine before. Like, what was that like? Because it's a wellness pro, bikini pro. Was it crazy training with her?
So I was actually really nervous to train with her, funnily enough, because I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Like, she's gonna be like so strong, and she is, like, she's incredibly strong. But it was a good workout. Like, we've done a couple of sessions together now, and I feel like it was good because we both can push each other and we both like to work hard. So yeah, she pushes me pretty hard and I push her pretty hard back. She's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. They're ones to watch, aren't they? Those two.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see what she brings to the stage next year. Yeah, she's impressive, man.
She's so good for wellness. I can't wait to see what she does. Speaking of, I haven't talked to you really since our nationals because you've been a busy girl and you've been doing your competition. But what did you think about pros? What do you think about Rochelle getting a pro card?
Oh, she looked great. Yeah, she looked phenomenal. It's really cool when you see someone and like you know them, you follow their journey, and like I've seen her compete over the last few years, and to see her finally get it was really cool, and to see the physique that she brought, like wow, the improvements. Yeah, she looked great.
Cool to see. Yeah, it was a good little it was a good nationals. Like everyone that got their pro card, it was just kind of fun. Like the whole thing was an event, wasn't it? Well, we watched it together, but I haven't spent like since that day. We haven't really chatted about it, but it was just cool to see, and it's just another pro for us in bikini.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what she does next year too, because I think like her and Sheena were like, we've got a plan like straight away.
Yeah, within a couple of days.
I hope she announces it. Yeah, it'll be cool.
It'd be really cool.
We might end up doing like a pro show together. We'll see. Because if she's going, to the US next year and I'm going to the US, like maybe it would line up, or
how exciting. We'll all be watching. We'll all be waiting patiently. But obviously no pressure. Just do your thing, babe. And when we hear about it, we hear about it. I'm excited though. What are you and Frank up to for Christmas? Are you guys chilling? Are you guys going to be like just grinding through? Are you spending time with family? What are you guys up to?
Yeah, we're going to take some time just to chill. Like we're just staying home, not really going away. We've got Frank's daughter Zayla coming to stay with us for the second half of the school holidays this time, so we don't actually have her for Christmas this year. So we're just hosting Christmas at our house because we got a new house and we've got the space and the outdoor area and stuff. So that'll be cool. And yeah, we're just hanging around home and just family stuff, and then we're going to do a Queenstown trip in February next year because we both haven't been, like we've both never been. Yeah, and everyone keeps telling us that we've got to go. So
yeah, in summertime. That'd be cool.
But it'd be good to go.
Yeah, it'll be nice, babe. That's so cool. That's pretty much all I've got for you today, essentially, because I've kind of picked your brains about a lot of it. But when you decide what shows you're going to do next year, do you think you'll announce them? Yeah,
I think so. Way back in 2019 when I did my first prep, I didn't tell anyone, and I quite liked that because I didn't want like any external pressure on myself. But I think like now, people seem to enjoy like following the journey and stuff like that. So, and I did enjoy like sharing more of my prep this time around, and so I think I'll definitely share and let people know what I'm up to. Yay,
because there's no pressure, of course, like especially pros, you have to really like knuckle down and get it done. Of course, there's so much more to it, but it's just cool for your fans. I'm one of them to like follow along the journey and see what you're doing, but there's no pressure again, but we'll be watching your socials and we'll wait and see if anything comes out, but we'll be backing you regardless. Do you have any sponsors you want to mention before we wrap it up?
So the biggest one, probably like the biggest one for this prep is Swole Foods. They're so amazing, like they're incredible, and they really got me through this prep, like having the food prepped for me, my meals prepped for me. They've got prep packs, so they're like pre-cooked, slow cooked meal, like meat packs, I guess, like pulled beef and diced chicken and stuff like that. So I would just cook my pasta, which takes like 5 minutes, weigh out my meals and my meat and stuff, and so that was super handy having that stuff ready to go. Saved me a lot of time in the kitchen, and saved Frank a lot of extra time in the kitchen too, because he was amazing and did a lot of the meal prep for me as well, like in terms of dinners and stuff. Like I'd always come home to my dinner cooked and stuff, so that was super helpful. Swole Foods and Sprint Fit as well, like for my supplements.
Nice, babe. That's it.
My bikini with Accentuate.
Of course, Accentuate. Now you've got to add that to the list. We're going to start stacking these sponsors up soon, babe. They're going to be like Bombshell, like all of them. We'll get there. And is it just do they just use Kate? Is it like for Swole Foods and
Swole Foods, Kate 10, and then Sprint Fit is just Kate.
Perfect, nice. And obviously bikinis are just sponsored to you, but if you want your bikinis done in New Zealand, Accentuate's where to go. And the blue looked amazing. So if you want to get Kate blue, I'm sure you can just probably ask Sarah, can I get Kate's blue? And then she'll be like, perfect, got it.
The blue
purple. Yeah, that's it. It was a little bit in the middle. Well, it was so good to have you, babe. Thank you so much for joining me and for your time.
Thank you for having me on again. Yeah, it was cool.
Good. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again on another pod, maybe when you do your next show. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, babe. Well, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you.